people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don come.
They are also telling us that they have rights to live in any part of Nigeria, which is in contention now, okay, especially in Yoruba land. I also have these updates as well from Ibadan, where we also received the report of a DPO shooting down an Amotekun Corp member because he was accused of arresting a Fulani herdsman that would give him the authority to arrest others in your state. So at the end of the day, so I'm trying to share this with you. I hope it works. So this is the news from Ondo. Okay. So at least 2 people died on Thursday in a clash between the operatives of Ondo State Security Network, known as Amotekun, and armed others. That's the news from Ondo State. Amotekun fighting with armed others, okay, in Yoruba land. And the incident, 20 times length, occurred at Agor Sanusi along Ute Road in Owo, headquarters of our local government area of the state, right? That is in Ondo State today. And I picked up a video that I want to share with you. And in the process of sharing that, I'm also going to share with you the update given by Professor Wole Soyinka, how he's so unhappy that Nigeria police came out to say his house was not invaded. Professor Wole Soyinka was really upset, and you will hear from him today. He stated it, yes, his house was invaded by Fulani herdsmen, armed herdsmen, and it wasn't a cow, 2 or 3. And when he decided to apprehend them, they ran away and left their cows. It was Professor Wole Soyinka who phoned the police after they brought the whole situation under control. And the police in Ogun State came out to say, no, there wasn't anything like that. There's culpability between the police in Nigeria and these armed terrorists in Nigeria. And you get to know more why and why it's likely not going to change or stop. And I'm going to take you to other news from other parts of Yoruba land that borders on the increasing insecurity in Yoruba land. So let's do this first. Let's listen to one of their governors. Before we even listen to one of their governors, right? They were talking about security, right? Lifeless Buhari said those who were bringing in radio equipment to Nigeria, they were more dangerous. They are more dangerous than those who are armed to thief, killing people, kidnapping them for ransom, and even government paying tax, right? So here we are. The governor of Bauchi State, Bala Muhammad, who happened to be, he was the same guy who said a Fulani man can live anywhere in Nigeria, and there is no crime in that. He's just released a new statement, and he said a Fulani man deserves to hold his gun. He needs his AK-47 to protect himself. To protect themselves. And the question is, protect themselves from who? To protect themselves and their cows from farmers who are going to stop them from grazing on their farms, right? This is what the governor had to say. So for some of you who may not really know that, this is a systemic, planned criminal invasion of territories in Yoruba land. They are really, really sanctioned. It's a big it is an agenda sanctioned by the powerful among them who have the power to control them, build ranches for them, rather than harming them and to continue to cause this havoc. This is what the Bauchi State government says. Listen.
I will tell you something that I told my colleagues about the herders and farmers clashes in Nigeria. You have seen what our colleagues in the southwest are doing, and some of them from the southeast. Some of us told them with all modesty and humility, you are wrong. But the person that is most wrong is the governor of Benue State, my brother and my colleague, Governor Otto. He started all this. If you don't accommodate other tribes, we are also accommodating your tribes in Bauchi and other places. We have so many people working in farming in Al-Kaleri, farming in Tafawa Balewa, farming in Bogoro. Has anybody told them to go? We have not, because it's their own inalienable right to be there. We have Yoruba people in Bauchi for over 150 years, even before the birth of Nigeria. Nobody has talked to them. Some of them have risen to become permanent secretaries in Gombe, in Bauchi, and in Borno. And now, because a Fulani man is practicing the tradition of transhumance, pastoralism, he has been exposed to the vagaries of the forest, the animals, and now the cattle rustlers who carry guns, kill him and take away his commonwealth, that is the cows. He had no option but to carry AK-47 because the society and the government are not protecting him. What is his fault? It's the fault of the government and the people. You don't criminalize all of them, because in every tribe there are criminals. If cybercrime is being practiced mostly by one tribe, you don't criminalize the whole tribe that they are criminals. We should be very sensitive. I'm happy with what the chairman has said. We have to be careful. And you as journalists, you must exercise restraint. You must decipher from wrong and right. Something that is so bad, that can divide us, that can threaten our unity, our hegemony. You don't do it. I must thank our chairman of the Northern Governors Forum at this occasion, because we are talking of the use of media to promote peace and unity in Nigeria. I think he is a hero in that field. Governor Lalong, with his diverse background, with his minority background, he is leading the Northern governors with focus, with a lot of sense. You, the media, you must make sure you single out such heroes for promotion. Not those people that will speak from Ekiti or from Ondo, that Fulani should leave their forests. Nobody owns any forest. The forest is owned by Nigeria. Under Section 23, 24, 25 of the Constitution, every Nigerian is free to stay anywhere. And let me tell you, nobody had the freedom of matriculations or speaking anyhow. Anybody can speak anyhow, but we are exercising restraint.
Hear that? So we can talk from morning to night, Monday to Sunday, January to December. Yeah? They have their clear-cut intention. They have no intention in reining in all these guys who are armed, because they gave them the guns. And according to them, right, everyone asking those armed criminals to go, they are those who want to disturb the peace and unity of Nigeria, not those who are wielding guns, shooting down people on their farms, destroying their farms. And now the farmers have no power. They are saying that you either accept it, or you are calling for this unity of Nigeria. How can invading people's properties? The land, there is nothing like Nigeria land. That is where they are making mistake. Some of them are talking about Nigeria land, Nigeria land. There's no Nigeria land. Do you get that now? There are landowners. All these indigenous lands have indigenous people who own them. That they are part of Nigeria now doesn't give their land or make their land Nigeria land. As much as they have been trying to change the whole narrative and the rest of that for years, people are still attached to their ancestral land as Africans. Do you get that now? So how can any African who possibly have his own family land in Bauchi, he's not talking about how to reallocate the land, among those who need land in Bauchi as a Bauchi state governor. But he is suggesting that the rest of the country, if they want peace, they are threatening us, right? They are telling us that we should stop complaining. They have friends who agree with them, but they don't have many friends, okay? So, in fact, for you to really know that Nigeria is a lost cause, I have this a bit of a cracker for you before I take you to what Professor Wole Soyinka said about the invasion of his property. I want you to listen to that in detail. The credit of that video goes to the Arise News Television. They have the credit to it. But Professor Wole Soyinka, who said something in that video, will make us share that in this broadcast today. But before then, it is not just the governor. Listen to another, maybe senator, maybe rep. They were talking about the economy of Nigeria, and the ban on cryptocurrencies in Nigeria. And this is what that senator had to say.
Cryptocurrency has become a worldwide transaction, of which you cannot even identify who owns what, and is being protected by an app, a software blockchain. The technology is so strong that I don't see how, even if we regulate it, I don't know the kind of regulation that we can do. Because another very important thing that we should know is that Bitcoin has made our currency almost useless or valueless.
Did you hear that? Bitcoin has destroyed Naira. They are now blaming Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the devaluation of Naira. That is the mentality of those who are making laws for Nigeria, those who are discussing Nigeria problems there. And that is why they will always be associating every problem with tribe, politics, religion, when they should take the problem head on. I mean, there is an insecurity issue. Some people who are unlicensed are carrying guns. We don't know their identity. The government is not interested in figuring out their identity. They are telling us that those who are killing us are those who are from the foreign country that invaded Nigeria. How can people invade your country and you are so comfortable? Politicians, lawmakers, opinion holders, and they cannot come together and say, let us fish out all these criminals who are killing our people. But instead of that, they are telling us to be careful of what we say so that we don't cause disunity. If you see a Fulani man, they are even justifying their carrying guns. All of you are sleeping. Some of you are sleeping. I will use that word. Some of you are still sleeping about what is going on in Nigeria. I laid my hand on so many things today, and I hope I actually am able to share some of them with you. Okay? Mijet Yala. Do you know that Mijet Yala is now a construction company too? Mijet Yala is negotiator for terrorists and government. Mijet Yala is also providing security like vigilante across Nigeria. Mijet Yala is also a construction company in Abuja now. So they are fully loaded. That some of you don't have a clue of what is going on. But let's go to Abeokuta. In fact, let's go to Lagos, where Professor Wole Soyinka gave detail of what happened that fateful day when his house was invaded. I want you to listen to this. It is about of a stretch. But if you have the time, relax and listen to this. I'll take it off from there. Okay? Watch this.
And shortly we'll be joining with the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka. But before that, some stories. The Ogun State Police Command Wednesday put a lie into a trending online video suggesting that the Kempta Estate Abeokuta home of Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka had been besieged by Fulani herdsmen. The rumored invasion had caused panic in the state capital Wednesday. Joining us now from the Freedom Park in Lagos is Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka. Good to have you, Professor.
You're welcome. Glad to be back.
Yes, we understand you were meant to have a press conference, but we're glad to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. Good to have you again.
Well,
yeah, so I'd like to hear it from the horse's mouth since we have you. Can you clarify for us what exactly happened? There seem to be various, versions of what happened. We hear that the cows strayed into your compound, or we hear that cows were lost, and then the pack strayed into your compound. We hear you were attacked. So help us clarify what actually happened on Tuesday.
Yes, I've been reading some of these versions. Some are quite amusing. Others are quite distressful, especially the version being peddled by the police. I think the police need to be educated that when people talk about the invasion of home, they're not talking just about a physical building. They're talking about home as home, which includes the grounds. No cattle people attacked me. That is a fact. I'm here physically, and I didn't suffer any injury. That never happened. But my home was invaded by cattle. Why should the police go to such lengths as to suggest that I had nothing better to do than to go accosting cattle on the road? What's my business with cattle on the road? We drove them out of my property together with my groundsmen. In fact, they began the expulsion process. I then happened to be driving out, so I joined them in my vehicle. My groundsmen are used to the drill because this is not the first time it's happened. So I joined them in my vehicle in herding their cattle out of my premises. After that, once they were out of my property, that's when I arrested the cows. Why did I arrest them? On exiting my property, just outside my gate, I beckoned to the herdsman. I said, "Come over here. Haven't I given you a warning before?" He turned around and then proceeded walking along. So I walked towards him, and the next time he leapt into the bush and disappeared, and his other assistant had also disappeared. So we were left with the cattle. And so I penned in the cattle by the roadside, called one of my groundsmen to stand there with me, and we kept the cattle there while I sent for the police to come and take over. That is a very simple, ordinary, commonsensical proceeding. Why should the police find it necessary to suggest that these people, these cattle and the herdsmen, were never in my property? I mean, what kind of nonsense? It's a distraction from more serious issues. I hate to be personally at the center of issues like this. I'm more concerned with what's happening to students in Ondo who are being waylaid by herdsmen, being kidnapped. I'm more concerned with my people in Ogun State who are being butchered, even while the governor is setting up a commission of inquiry. So please, I wish to beg the police, don't make a big issue out of this. Don't lie. Then I don't need to come here and address anyone.
All right, Prof, I gathered that the owner of the cattle and the herders is a Yoruba man. I am wondering, have you had, of course you said you've instructed them never to get into your grounds. Have you had a one-on-one discussion with the owner to make sure that this thing never occurs again, or even before that incident when you want them never to do that again?
The first thing, I'm very glad you mentioned this issue of the owner being a Yoruba. It's very critical. In fact, you'll notice that very rarely do I use the word Fulani. It's unfortunate that this particular, any kind of crime has to be linked to any section of this community, ethnic community. It's something nobody's comfortable with. But unfortunately, the Meiti Allah, so their spokespeople, were the ones who identified and claimed this crime. I know exactly what they did, and claimed this crime virtually as their own. This killing of farmers, etc., they did. And so the whole nation followed suit. Now, the owner, I've never met him before, but I have arrested on my property herdsmen before. I sat them on the ground, took photographs of them, and I said, I'm circulating this all over. And anytime you're seen around this premises, something more serious will happen to you. So it's not the first time. And I've spoken to the ballet. The police were involved, and I said, serve notice to these people. This is a green zone. This is my private home. They should not come here and drive a motorway, a cattleway through my property. If it happens again, there will be serious consequences.
Okay.
So
all right.
this thing.
Hate to interrupt your flow of thought, Professor Soyinka, but we have to go on a quick break and be right back to talk with you some more.
Yes, that is the first part of the detailed interview granted the Arise News Television by Professor Wole Soyinka. Okay, so the bottom line there is that his home was invaded. Okay, and the police was trying to hide that from their own release. Okay, so if you now read the news that police shot and they shot Amotekun Corp member for for arresting Fulani terrorists in Ibadan, just to let you know that. And you see people saying, oh, let us watch what we say. Let us be careful. Don't say it out. And don't cause ethnic deeds. You can see that Professor Wole Soyinka, being an elder statesman himself, an elderly man, is being careful as well, cautious of how he's going to present that, until he said, but when Miyetti Allah claimed responsibility for all this nonsense, all this crime being committed, no effort to tame these criminals or stop them. Therefore, it is better for us to let the world know the criminals that were perpetrated. So if you see any Yoruba man or a Yoruba woman jumping up and down on behalf of this whole crime to hide it away or to blackmail you into silence, remember, we have them among us. They dress like us. They speak the same language like us. But guess what? They don't care what happened to us, except what we care about ourselves. So the part I wanted to share with you is this: the news from Ibadan. DPO shoots Amotekun operative for arresting Fulani herdsmen who destroy farms. Okay, this is the news from Ibadan today, with names, place, time, and those involved. Okay, the divisional police officer in charge of Ile-Igbon Division, Surulere local government area of Ogbomoso in Oyo State, Adepoju Ayodeji, on Friday shot an operative of Amotekun for arresting Fulani herdsmen who allegedly destroyed a cassava farm. The Amotekun commandant in the state, Colonel Olayanju Olayinka, retired, who confirmed this to reporters in Ibadan on Friday, said the police boss shot the victim at close range, right? So the news writer was from Sahara Reporters. Yes, policemen shot Amotekun Corp member. In Ondo State, they killed 2 burnt vehicles that belong to Ondo State government. And then, at the end of the day, you would never see any of them arrested, prosecuted, or jailed for this crime. And that is why when people say we want to be safe, the government is saying, no, it's not that bad. Do you get that now? So therefore, people will resort into self-help for this reason. Watch the concluding part of Professor Wole Soyinka's interview about what happened to him. I want you to watch this because some of what I've been telling you, some of them will sound somehow like comical, some will sound like unbelievable. But it's better you listen to people who have been involved, people who have been affected, and they are still alive to tell the story. There are many, many people that are going through this right now in Yoruba land. There is no help coming. That's the point I'm trying to make, except if you help yourself. And that's the fear of civil war that the elite seems to be so scared about.